Greetings, traveler. I am SnapJelly, and about a week ago I made a video talking about the bolt and shield wall, and a lot of comments were about Wun Wun and about Wun Wun's equipment, how he should have worn different equipment. And although I agree with the idea that weapons for Wun Wun would have completely changed everything, more comments were actually about armor for the guy, that Wun Wun should have worn armor, and this made me think. And the conclusion that I came up with was that Wun Wun would actually not be able to wear armor. You see, actually, wait. First, let's talk about scenario, because I know that there are people in the comments that are going to say, well, Jon Snow would have never been able to get armor for Wun Wun considering the scenario he was in. Yeah, that's true. That's completely true. So just get that out of the way first. It's a hypothetical situation. Is that a word? I don't know. It's a what-if scenario. Like, what if Jon Snow could somehow get some blacksmiths to work for him? Could he get Wun Wun armor? I think no. You see, the thing is, Wun Wun is very big, and that's a problem. I really need to paint that wall. It's kind of ugly. It would kind of make sense for giant societies, if there are giant societies, I don't know if there are for giants to create equipment for themselves. But for a human to create armor for a giant, that would be quite a problem. Let's say you can get the material, right? Because it would take a lot of steel, of course. Then actually creating a chestplate that big, so that Wun Wun would fit it, that is gonna be hard. That's gonna be really, really difficult. Now, you might say, well, Jelly, there are other options. What about splint armor, or more commonly known as splint mail? Splint mail is a type of armor that has multiple iron or steel strips, I suppose, connected to some leather straps. And because of that, it's fairly comfortable to wear, and of course easier to make because all you need is some iron. What do you call those? Slabs? I don't know. Quite easy to make. It's also a little bit more comfortable to wear, so you give up a little bit of protection for, a little bit more comfort. Could you wear that? Well, again, I think no. Well, I do agree that creating those large metal rods, plates, whatever, would be easier than just creating full plate armor for the guy, but they're connected to leather. They're with studs, they're connected to leather. And those plates of steel are still going to be very big, and because they're very heavy, so the leather would stretch. And it will eventually just rip and break, and they will fall off. So, splint mail isn't an option either. Now, you could also say that there would be, it's getting dark. Sun, come back. I don't have proper lighting, I need the sun. Damn it. Now, what about different materials? Because you could also use wood as armor. Now, I'm not sure what types of wood people have in Westeros, if it's the same or not, or whatever, but this would, again, pose quite a few problems. Mainly, not only because of his size, but also because of his strength. You see, you cannot make any protection for Wun Wun just out of a single piece of wood. It is going to have to be planks, because of his size. And those planks are going to have to be nailed together with nails, which, alright, it's not big of a deal, but those nails are once more creating weak points in the armor, and they will eventually snap. Also, if you have a chest plate, then that's kind of rounded, so it makes it easier to move, whilst the potential wooden armor would just be straight. So you would limit the movement in the way that you can't, bend forward, which for a giant is quite helpful if you're fighting humans. Also, considering Wun Wun moves around quite a bit, he's not particularly slow, he's quite quick. The boards, the nails are gonna get loose, it's unavoidable, it doesn't work. Once more, there's the splint idea, just having individual beams of wood connected to some leather, and have that wrapped around it. Well, yeah, but that would, in theory, that would increase protection a little bit, but once more, the beams are just gonna be incredibly heavy for the leather to support. I don't think that will work. Now, what about leather as a type of armor? Well, here's the thing. Considering what Wun Wun is already wearing, just his standard clothes, it's fur, right? And, well, there are various reasons why I personally don't really like fur as a type of clothing. It has quite a bit of downsides, but it has some sort of protective capability. It functions as padding a little bit. So leather would not really be better armor than the fur he's already wearing. So because of that, He's actually already wearing armor, kinda. I mean, he's wearing the best that he can. He could wear leather. There are ways to make leather harder, and that way you could, of course, leather would be better protection, but it would be way less comfortable for him to wear. So the fur actually, is not that bad. They don't actively show it in the show, but on the other hand, in the show there are also instances where people just blatantly break through plate armor with no difficulty whatsoever. So I don't know how much you can actually judge for armor material in that regard. The fur would double pretty well as armor. He might be able to wear more fur, you could say that, but you also got to keep overheating in mind. I don't know how much fur would be too much fur for a giant, but overheating is a problem. You can't have him pass out on the battlefield. So it's the fur is not that bad for a giant, and also considering the situation that they're in, it doubles pretty well as padding. So I don't think it's that bad. Now, some people also suggested that he should wear a shield, which again, it poses the same kind of problem in my mind, because of course a shield for Wun Wun would have to be insanely big, and if humans would make that for him, that would be incredibly hard. Also, the boards are just going to be heavy, and for the nails, because you would have to nail it together, and the nails will give in, and it doesn't quite work. If you want the boards to hold up, so the nails not to break loose or whatever, then the wood would have to be relatively thin. And considering Wun Wun's strength, he would never be able to actually bash with the shield, because the shield would just break, considering how strong he is. Because he's like 12 times the strength of humans, or 14 times, or something, I forgot. And it doesn't matter. He is very freaking strong. Once more, the beams would, considering their size, they would probably just give in. I don't think it would hold up. It would just be too heavy for itself to support itself. Now you could say they could make a shield out of lighter material, like a freaking hide shields. That's the thing. They are pretty strong too, hide shields. You should not underestimate hide shields. So they could do that. Well, yeah, but once more, Wun Wun's strength would limit him in that regard. Because just imagine yourself running around with a giant sheet of cardboard. It's very annoying. It doesn't work. So shield, that's not gonna work. Maybe if giants would find a way to make shields for themselves, that would make sense, but I don't see humans creating a shield for a giant. Makes no sense. He could, however, wear a club, though. I think he should have had a club. If he had a club, he would have wreaked havoc upon the friggin' battlefield. He would have crushed everybody, no problem. He would just smash everybody. You could probably imagine what it looked like. I don't know why I did that. You know what it would look like. But yeah, a club, it would have changed everything. Or a bow. I don't know if Wun Wun is a capable archer or not, but we've already seen a giant with a bow before. It's just like walking, talking siege artillery. And incredibly fast too, like incredibly fast siege artillery. That would completely change the game. Really, if Wun Wun would have had either a bow or a club, John would have won, no problem. That's just what it comes down to. He just would have won. Armor is not necessary. He just needs a bow or a club. He could have a relatively small shield maybe that he uses just to block against arrows, but yeah, well, I don't really think it's necessary. I mean, he tanked a lot of arrows. He's a big guy. He could take a lot of arrows. It's not going to be comfortable, but he could take a lot. They're like needles to him. How many needles can you take before you actually die? A lot, So I don't think that's a big problem. The club would have definitely helped. Yeah. I have a special deal for you. If you subscribe now, you will get nothing. A subscription to SnapJelly, and that's great because my videos are they're top notch. They're amazing. You definitely want to see more. I promise you. And also, everybody who likes now gets a free virtual hug. From me. You won't actually feel it, but it is there. Like right now. You like? Okay, here. Stretch your arms. Okay, there you go. Ooh. Oh, this is getting really weird really fast. What am I doing? Also follow me on Facebook, facebook.com/SnapJelly. I'm link in the description below, and thank you for joining my quest, and I hope you'll join me in the next one. Bye, guys.